next transition we're gonna make is talking about Matt Stafford. I mean, he was, in my opinion, probably the third best Detroit Lion of all time. Definitely, saw him, have the team, the franchise on his back year in and year out. Obviously, didn't see a ton of success while he was here. He did, help us get to the playoffs a few times, but everybody knows he made his transition, over to LA now. So yeah, I just want to, kind of ask you, like, what your thoughts are, as far as just like, his impact on Detroit. And, what do you kind of see him doing, in LA? Do you think are they like an automatic contender? Or do you think it'll kind of just be like, some people, is Stafford's bad luck? Is it going to just kind of chase them from Detroit to LA to where maybe they're not going to be as good as everybody thinks they are? Or what are your thoughts?
No, I'll go back to kind of like day one of Matthew Stafford when I was completely against them drafting him, and they gave him that huge deal. It was like $80 million, $81 million or something. And I just thought it was absurd because we were coming off such a bad track record. But I would say, I think it was that first year when he dislocated his shoulder, stayed in the game, and beat Cleveland. And I think from that moment on, you kind of showed the warrior spirit. He kind of showed just what he was made out of. Always playing through injuries, always playing when the line was beat up, when we didn't have a running game, when we had when we had Calvin Johnson out there, to when we had a pack of not so great receivers out there. He was always just a consistent guy for us. Yeah. And I would say I don't understand a lot of the issues that Detroit fans had with him. I think sometimes it's easy to point the blame towards a person that's just consistently there, that he might be an issue, when in reality, he could have been the only reason where we weren't the bottom of the barrel completely. So I think we'll quickly realize that. And as far as his new life in LA, I think he's going to do great things. I think that team's already, a playoff team, already, contender, great defense. I'm excited to see what he can do out there. I'm excited to see him with a new cast of guys, with a new, just organization behind him. And I think he's going to go out there and do great things. I'm not guaranteeing a Super Bowl by no means, but I definitely see him come January in the playoffs, making plays and possibly with a game or two under his belt.
Yeah. Would you say that should number 9 be retired in Detroit? What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I probably would. I can't think of any other. That's the best quarterback that's ever played for us. Like you said, arguably top 3 all time on the team. And I think he's given a lot of his best years to us. When if he was on another team, he probably would have a few more, accolades as far as playoff wins and
maybe Super Bowl.
So I would say it's nothing we should rush to do. But it probably would be the right and honorable thing to do down the line. As far as he was a great player for us, great quarterback, great leader, and kind of kept us together when we could have been a real shit show.
Yeah. Yeah, and I agree. I want to just kind of piggyback off what you said about, like, you don't really understand why, like, people think that, like, he was just not good. I mean, it's a team game. He's been the only consistent piece, or was the only consistent piece of that entire team for like 12 years. Like, I mean, they've had 10 to 12 different running backs. They've drafted 2 different running backs that didn't pan out. They've drafted all the wide receivers that didn't pan out. Like, they only got it right 1 year, and that was with Calvin Johnson in the last like 15 to 18 years. Yep. I mean, even defense, like, coaching, never been great over there. Yeah. Discipline was always poor. Like, he just was keeping, I mean, he was such a huge foundation, for the team as a whole. And I just think we're going to severely miss him, because major downgrade, with Jared Goff. Just from a talent perspective, he's not anybody. I mean, he was pretty successful in LA, but they had number 1 defense last year. Got Aaron Donald. That's somebody the Lions actually passed up on. We got Eric Ebron, if I'm not mistaken, instead of Aaron Donald a few years back. It just helps. You got to have a supporting cast in football. You got to have a supporting cast in any, in a lot of sports.
Back to the supporting cast. I mean, you might actually know the answer to this, but I know like the ballpark. We've only had like Matthew Stafford's only had like 300 or 400 yard rushers his entire time there. It was
Yeah,
like it was like Reggie Bush one year, and I couldn't even tell you who else did. Like he's only
yeah.
had like a, a handful of times. And
Mm-hmm.
what other quarterback can say that put up that amount of consistent yards? If you
Yeah.
give the average quarterback, um, if you give the average quarterback 55 yards out the backfield for their entire career, there's numbers aren't going to look anywhere near like Matthew Stafford's.
Yeah, like teams were playing Detroit knowing that all they had to do was sit back and just make Stafford like beat them. Like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I think it was. I mean, they've only had one guy go over 1,000 yards, Reggie Bush. That was back in like 2012.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I mean,
but also like 100 yard rushers in a game.
Yeah,
I don't think we've had like a handful. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's I can't tell you the last time even that. Yeah, like a running back has even made an impact to where the defense was like, okay, we can't just come out in a dime package and just force Stafford to pick us apart. No, that's a great point, as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna miss him. I'm rooting for him. I hope that he's able to, you know, take LA to the playoffs, get a win or two. Maybe mess around, maybe to the Super Bowl. Obviously, we know Tampa Bay, they're kind of the team to beat in the NFC. A lot can happen between now and, when the playoffs come. But yeah, we'll definitely, I'm almost to the point to where it's like, you might just be kind of checking the box score and not really taking the time on a Sunday to, it's going to be ugly this year. I mean, they're definitely going to be 3-14,
And just let me pile on to this one more thing.
Yeah.
And I heard about to say, outside of that, Matthew Stafford's a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen him play beat the hell up.
Yep.
Whether that's shoulders, knees, hands,
Broken ribs.
And he showed up and was slain.
Yeah.
I don't see Jared Goff doing that. I think you hit him in the mouth a couple times. He's sitting around at 1-6, 2-5,
Yeah.
and getting beat up and the ribs are sore. He is not going to go out there the way Stafford wanted to go out there.
Right.
And I think he's going to take that nice paycheck and sit around and just ride that wave. And whoever our backup is can go in and handle it. And I think that's how I see it going. He's not going to show up and want to go out there and fight for your team and for your other teammates and your fellow Warriors the way Stafford did.
Yeah, whole different ball game too. Like, when you turn around, you got Todd Gurley in the backfield. you got a mastermind coach. I mean, McVay been there 4 or 5 years. He
got to bite him on the ankle, dude. Now he's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, So got a coach talking about biting kneecaps and drinking 40 ounces of coffee and more. That's a whole different topic for another episode, though. I'm not a huge fan, at least what I've seen. I just kind of see I just get like middle school, high school vibes. Like he's just doing everything, like all that like showman type. Now
all that rah-rah shit only works if you actually win.
Right.
If not, it's a complete joke. It really is. Like if you go out there and you fucking 10-6, you could joke about two 40-ounce coffees in the morning. Yeah. You go out there and you're 1-15. You're a laughing stock.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm getting out of it. It's like you said, it's middle school. Like it's fake tough man persona. It's, I can go out here and I'm just going to yell. That's kind of what I get out of it. So I think we're in for a long ride.
Yeah. It's going to be a long season for sure. But going to kind of, stay on the quarterback topic, but shift gears a little